expecting to be able to speak because I didn't submit my request until this morning. But now that I'm here, I have a couple of questions for the 115th precinct that it has any policies or practices in place to ensure that officers do not cooperate with ICE agents or share information that could lead to immigration enforcement. New York City is a sanctuary city, and that kind of cooperation undermines trust and makes many of our neighbors feel unsafe. And the second question is, does the 115th precinct currently issue criminal summonses to cyclists for minor traffic violations, like going through a red light when it's safe to proceed? If so, is the precinct willing to reconsider this practice given its disproportionate effects on delivery workers, immigrants, and low-income residents? I received questions with respect to the role that the precinct plays in our community and hope that their enforcement decisions reflect fairness and safety and compassion. Thank you.
The precinct will address those when they come up for the public information session. Next up is the Independent Budget Office.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sid Ray. I'm a community engagement specialist from the New York City Independent Budget Office. I'm just here to introduce our agency and promote a few of our workshops that are coming up. So, New York City Independent Budget Office, we are a city agency. We are independent in the sense that we don't report to any elected officials. Our primary function is to provide information that's data-driven on government policy and the budget to New Yorkers. So we accept questions from the public. We answer research questions from council members, and we publish reports throughout the year. But our charter mandate is that we produce independent analyses of the mayor's budget plans. So the November plan, the preliminary budget, and the executive budget. So this past May, we just published our analysis of the executive budget, if you're interested in what we have to say about that. But throughout the year, we also publish reports to do with environment, housing infrastructure, a lot of education data. We have a team of about 50.
Ma'am, I apologize, ma'am. You cannot.
No. You cannot interrupt the meeting. Ma'am, you cannot interrupt the meeting.
No. Ma'am, you cannot have that shirt in front of there, ma'am. You have to change it.
Please do not interrupt our meeting.
Step away. You cannot have that on. Once again, ma'am, you cannot have that on. You have to step away. You cannot do that.
I'm very compliant. Right. We also publish reporting. We have some flyers at the back.
To move more resources to Roosevelt, and they need to be on Northern Boulevard, and where are we seeing crime spikes, or where are we seeing our reductions. So I like to give you the year-to-date info. I think that's pretty relevant. 2088. So we're down 209 crimes, or that to last year, the same 28. Sure.
I hear what you're saying, but Street Club has reported that cyclists on unpowered bicycles have been issued criminal summonses in New York City. So that was my question, was is the 115th, and if they are, could they reevaluate that?
I think we're every cop in the 115 precinct, every cop in the NY on civil enforcement. We have nothing to do with it. We don't enforce it. Agents or anything like that. Their request at the only time we will help is if a crime is being committed. If a criminal crime where an assault is taking place, we would step in. With that only exception, we don't assist. We don't take part in that civil enforcement. So, and every cop in this precinct has been trained on it, and we're well aware of it. We haven't had any issues with that.
Thank you.
One last, I got another minute. All right, one last thing I'd just like to go over is, I don't know if you saw it on the news, but Monday we had a major gang takedown in the Roosevelt corridor. 18th Street gang members, 8 members of the Associated 18th Street gang members were also done with the DA's office, and NYPD, Detective Bureau within the NYPD. So good enforcement and getting some just want to bring some current scams out. We're seeing more the scammer is telling them is an unsecured account. So move funds from this unsecured account to a secured account so that your money doesn't get stolen. That is a scam. We've had a couple incidents with that. Be careful of that. We get this DMV text. This is also a scam. I'm sure you've all gotten it. I've gotten it also.
Easy pass.
Text scam. No, that one kind of died out. The DMV one's really taken over. Anytime anyone's asking you to use gift cards to pay any bills, no good. Anytime anyone wants to get involved in any sort of cryptocurrency, also no good. Just, hang up, call your bank back if they're telling you that that it's your bank, and just, check with a friend. Hey, what do you think about this before you move any funds or give anybody any money? All right, thank you very much.
We'll take a few questions.
Also,
Yes, ma'am.
they also did Spectrum to me just recently.
Yeah,
So, and Spectrum always gives you a
they
chance
will
to
try
do it.
anything, so just
Yeah.
please, ask a friend. If you're thinking about giving anybody any money, any gift cards, any like that, please, check with a friend and, ask them what they think.
They're getting really good. I said, I'll call you back.
Yep, that's the way to do it. Just call them back and make sure that, you're dealing with the right person, because a lot of these scams are, they're regular. I mean, I get the text almost every day now, this DMV one.
Okay, we'll take a few.
Unprotected, meaning that there is, it's 7:30 at night in the afternoon. I saw this, believe it. I went in the train station and there were 15, I don't know why. Can you answer that? Like, I had to go up to them and say, can you please go up to Diversity Plaza? There's this guy that's peeing on the wall up there, and it was quite crowded, but nobody's gonna touch him.
Right, so, what the time of the night that you saw this? So, I'll make sure I bring it to their attention to keep an eye on the quality of life.
That would be great, because we do cover that. And it's just really confusing, because when I go walking down Roosevelt or walking up Roosevelt Avenue, there's the prostitutes between 81st and 82nd, and the cops are between, they're just standing there, they're not patrolling, but normally there's two, and they're standing between 82nd and 83rd. Like right across the street. Or the prostitutes will be in front of McDonald's, and the police will be on that.
There is that we have to operate within the law period, 411 arrests. To make those arrests, it takes a lot of work. I don't want to get too deep into how much we need legally to make those arrests, but there used to be an old law called loitering for prostitution, which maybe would be something that would have helped us for kind of like what you were seeing. But we're, like I said, we're definitely making arrests. We're definitely working on it. Someone.
It's not again, I don't know.
Right now, like I said, operate within the law, because that's the right thing to do, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, Mr. Cordano, I thank you to your team and all the NFPDs working to keep our CBP secure. I'm also lucky to have Christian, that when I pass by, all the vendors, they moreover, as you say, MPA, all dirty, and it's eye pain. And I request Councilman also, as well as you, to take care of that brother, because it's the only place in our area to have communication. And nowadays, Christian can answer, the chairs are not more there. You don't have chairs there. And you had a cheap ACE,
joint operations with other agencies for some of those vendors that aren't supposed to be there. Some are okay, some are not, so what's going on, so we're gonna send some extra cops over there for it.
I'm sure you're doing a lot of prostitution. You have 411, but are you going after the trafficking? Because a lot of these places are closed and 1 week later they open again. So are you doing deep investigations to see who's the ones that are running the operations? Something more deep and longer process where when these places are officers work informally, doing that because they show some videos of them talking to the, obviously they have a relationship with, between law by engaging in, talk and, I know they're building a relationship, but where do you draw the line where they might be actually helping immigration enforcement when they shouldn't? Those are my two questions.
Yeah, so the civil enforcement, I think I brought it up already, but every cop in NYP has been trained on that. We don't do it, we don't help ICE to do it. I don't know if you saw somebody, two guys walking down the street, they said hi to each other or what you saw, but, or where you saw it. But every cop in this command knows that we don't partake in that. So I think we've been good here. We haven't had any incidents like that. I haven't heard of anything like that. So they've all been trained. They know right from wrong, and it's going to stay that way. For the prostitution, we are doing a mix of almost all sorts of enforcement, and part of it is locations and nuisance abated in these locations. We had 7 so far that made it to the final stages of closing orders. So those locations have been padlocked. We checked those locations to make sure that no one's going back and operating in them. Some of the locations where you're saying maybe they open up a week later, those haven't made it through the courts yet to be officially closed. That also has to go through a judge and a whole process. But it is something that we do and we are working on. So and we're going to continue to do that. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, next we have our Assembly Member, Jessica Gonzalez Rojas.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are we? Thank you so much, and thank you to your leadership and Frank, your previous service, and to all the members of the board who I know work so hard, and the staff as well. I really commend you all. This is a volunteer job for many of you, and I know it's a lot of investment, so thank you. So my name is Assembly Member Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. I represent parts of Jackson Heights, parts of East Elmhurst, parts of Corona, parts of Woodside, and parts of Astoria. And I make clear parts because Jackson Heights alone is shared amongst 3 assembly members. So myself, Assembly Member Catalina Cruz, and Assembly Member Steve Braga. So depending on where you live, I might be your assembly member, or it might be Catalina, or it might be Steve. But again, I'm very proud to represent this district and to continue to fight for the community up in Albany. We just finished our legislative session several hours ago. I just came in from Albany this morning. So I'll be honest, I'm slightly exhausted. We had 18-hour days in the last couple of weeks, so it's been a lot. We passed nearly 1,000 bills in the Assembly, and then the Senate passed about 1,700 bills. And bills that pass both houses then go to the governor for final signage. So we're still waiting on many outcomes of some of the work that we've done. But I do want to share some big wins that you all should be aware of. And then I'll share about some events that we're hosting in the community. So one of the biggest wins that I'm excited about that I led for 3 years is Universal School Meal. So now, starting in the new school year, every single child across the state of New York will have a free healthy breakfast and free healthy lunch, no matter where they live, no matter how much money their parents earn, no matter where they live. And I know a lot of us are parents here, and to know that there's kids going hungry in school is just heartbreaking. So this was a big fight for me for many years, and I'm so thrilled we've got there. Now my fear is that the Trump administration is going to gut the federal portion of the deal, but we're going to continue to fight to make sure that we keep this win. The New York State Legislature and New York State controls a big portion of money that goes to the New York City school system. There's something called a foundation aid formula. It hadn't been updated in over 20 years. So this year we finally updated the formula and we delivered $26 billion in foundation aid for schools. And we were fighting for additional weights for English language learners, and I was fighting for weights for students who are in foster care or in temporary housing, because we know that oftentimes schools have to provide a lot more services to support those children. But we did make the formula more updated, more reflective of real life scenario. It doesn't use the census data of 2000, it now uses more updated data. But I'm going to continue to fight to make sure the formula continues to be more equitable. In higher education, we did something really exciting. Now, folks who are 25 to 50 establish something called the New York Opportunity Promise Scholarship that will provide free SUNY and CUNY higher education is more equitable. We got $910 million for our hospitals, our nursing, to make sure that our beloved Elmhurst Hospital stays solvent and afloat. The living